what is going on with everybody in the UK right now? When I say the left has gone way too far, this is the stuff I'm talking about. It's one thing of not liking what other humans are doing, but it's the fact that you kicked out a 3-year-old toddler for being transphobic. This is totalitarian insane. You cannot make this up, bruh. I saw this news on TikTok and I had to make a video about this because it's getting to a point where you're just kicking everybody out because of stupid reasons. And that right there is enough of a reason for me to not take people seriously nowadays, because it's one thing of not liking certain things about the LGBT community, but what on God's name is this, UK? I mean, you crashed out on Keith Lee for not liking your nasty food, but this right here, now I feel like you are really, really taking it too far. You kicked out of a toddler because he or she was homophobic. That's the left. A British toddler was kicked out of a nursing school after being accused of being transphobic and homophobic, according to the local media reports. The child, aged 3 or 4, was kicked out of an unnamed school nursing for being transphobic. The Telegraph reported Monday. The name of the school and details of the case were not disclosed by the Department of Education of the United Kingdom, the report said. The Department of Education spokesperson told the newspaper that all pupils and staff should feel safe and protected at school and should never face violence or abuse. So if you felt like your staff needed to be protected, then why did you feel the need to kick the child out of that school? Does it have something to do with the parents? Because I don't see the child doing anything wrong except being a baby. That's a 3-year-old baby that you just kicked out of that school. For what? Being transphobic? What did a child ever do to weird adults? Tell me. Because I want to know why all of a sudden you want to crash out on an innocent child. You cannot make this up. Statistics revealed that 94 students at the state primary schools were suspended or permanently excluded for transphobia and homophobic in 2022 and 3. So this was like 3 years ago. That figure includes 10 students from year 1 and 3 from year 2, where the maximum age is 7, the report states. For what? Why would you feel the need to kick out kids? You got 94 students at the state primary schools that were suspended from transphobia and homophobia. What's next? You gotta kick them out for being black, white, Asian? This has to be the dumbest reasons to ever exclude a child from that school because of what? Them being transphobic. Like, what did the child ever do to you? Seriously. This is giving secondhand embarrassment. That's how I feel personally. I just don't understand this world, bro. Every once in a while, the extremes of gender ideology throw up a story that seems too crazy to believe. And a toddler being suspended from nursing for so-called transphobia or homophobia is one such example. Helen Joyce, director of advocacy at Sex Matters, told the newspaper. It is crazy because I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to kick out a 3-year-old child for that stupid reason. Don't you think you need to talk to the adults first before you decide to take the child away from that school because of your personal reasons, because your little feelings got hurt, because the world doesn't accept you for who you are? I think y'all need a reality check. Just because you're sugar and then you tell your beliefs and their beliefs, no one should have to agree with you on your crazy ideology. You can't be forcing all of that onto people if they don't agree with you. If they don't agree with you, it is what it is. On to the next topic. On to the next story. Move on. But somehow you just want to crash out and get mad at people for not agreeing with how you feeling. Then it's obvious to me that you are the problem in society. And thanks to this article in this story, no wonder why the world laughs at y'all because of this. I'm sorry to say this though, but it's the truth. Like, you are literally making people hate you because of stuff like this. Like, I don't have ill will towards anybody of any gender, but if you pulling some crap like this, I'm gonna have to call you out on your BS and hold you accountable for your actions. But this right here is just unacceptable, bruh. Like, I can't believe y'all really did this for real. Teachers and schools leaders involved in this insanity should be ashamed of themselves for projecting adult concepts and beliefs. Yes. And I was just talking about this in my Sunday school earlier before I head on to my usher thing at 9 o'clock. We were just talking about this in my Sunday school about how you can't be forcing all of this crazy ideology onto the kids. Like, kids are just innocent. Kids should just be kids. Let them be kids and leave them the crap alone. I was just talking about this in my Sunday school. You wait till I send this to my Sunday school teacher, Minister Trice. We were just talking about this. This topic alone. Kids have no business being taught all of this in schools. They should be learning math, science, history, English, not learning about their sexuality and all of this shenanigans. Let them do that when they get older, not while they're young. Of course, they're going to be exposed to it on their own, but that doesn't mean that they're going to end up doing the crap that y'all do, because all you're doing is just making it, making things 10 times worse by filling them with your crappy ideology. This is the problem that I'm seeing every day. And this is coming from the left. This is crazy, bro. Y'all cannot do that with the kids, bruh. Author J.K. Rowling, who has spoken out on trans issues, took issues with the suspension. I bet he did. This is insanity. If you think small children should be punished for being able to recognize sex, you are a dangerous zealot who should be nowhere near kids or in any position of authority over them. I'm glad I'm not the only one that think this. I am so glad I'm not the only one that thought about the exact same thing. J.K. Rowling is no pushover when it comes to this topic. Either he or she knows exactly what they're talking about. Why bring kids into this topic? What do kids have to do with this whole situation? Because based on what I'm seeing from this crazy story is, this sounds like insecurities within themselves. If they're not wanting to just keep their politics out of their minds and focus on what's really important, is education. And if they can't understand that, then why did they need to get a license as teachers? Because this is just retarded, honestly. Lord Young, the director of Free Speech Union, told the newspaper, "It beggars belief that schools are suspending children as young as 5 for breaching the transphobia policy. I would have thought that if your ideology is so rigid, it justifies you punishing toddlers for not complying with it." That's a powerful argument for discarding it in favor of something less. Yeah, that part. That part. It's sad to me that when nobody agrees with how we feel, we take it out on others and we make them feel how we feel. You are crazy. Bro, y'all niggas are just crazy right now, bro. So it's because you're sugar. I'm trying to be careful in here because I don't want to be called out for the wrong reasons, but you get the point. It's because you're sugar. And if you don't like how people respond to your answer, you call them trans or homophobic because they have a different opinion. Then it's obvious to me that you're the problem. You're the problem. And then you're going to suspend the kids from what, being transphobic or homophobic. What did they say? Kids and babies don't usually talk until they get older. But at 3, shoot, I didn't even start talking until I was like 5. So how does that make sense? For you to kick the child out for what? I don't get it. Okay, so I'm not going to read throughout this whole article. So if y'all want a link, it'll be down below. But like I said, this is really giving me secondhand embarrassment, especially if you're going to kick out a 3-year-old toddler for being transphobic or homophobic. Like, what did they do? Like, why would you feel the need to crash out over it? It's just beyond ridiculous. Like, y'all got to grow up. Not everybody is going to agree with you on your politics or your beliefs because you just want to trip over it. And then you want to take your anger out on the kids. Like, if anybody that is in the wrong is you, the weirdos. And honestly, the story not only pissed me off, but I can never imagine finding out about what the school did by kicking my son or my daughter out for being transphobic because they don't live up to your expectations or your standards. I would have sued the school and I would have taken my child out of it. Because this is just beyond ridiculous, honestly. So, like I said, if you want the article, it'll be down below.